NMH at 1 highlights the news making waves ranging from current affairs, community stories, sports and economic news. Let's get straight into this broadcast. Amushelelo caught in Rani office web, lack of asset register enabling looting. This is according to Venaani, and a Pope urges global ban on surrogacy. I am Diana Master. Midday news update coming right up. Popular Democratic Movement leader Venaani says the lack of an asset register on the part of the government is a means to enable looting and a condemnation of President Hage Geingoob's 10-year presidency. This is despite a firm commitment made by Transport Minister John Mutorwa in the National Assembly that the process would have been completed by 2020. In an update, Mutorwa in March told the National Assembly the process of verification of fixed assets for the purpose of finalization of the asset register commenced toward the end of 2020 and is ongoing. Namibian Sun leads us into the newspaper review segment on the other side of this commercial break. Stay tuned.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
Thank you for staying with NMH at 1. We now take a look at what the lead stories are in Namibia's daily newspapers. A High Court order banning social justice activist Michael Amushelelo from stepping foot on any premises owned by the Rani Group meant that Amushelelo could not attend a disciplinary hearing of several Rani employees who were suspended after questioning their working conditions. This is reported on the Namibian Sun's front page. This is due to the fact that the Offices of Employee Placement Services in Namibia, the labor hire agency through which the workers are contracted, are situated in a complex owned by the local retail group. Amushelelo entered the premises nonetheless yesterday, a move that subsequently led to his arrest by the Namibian police, claiming he violated the court order that barred him from going within 200 meters close to properties owned by Rani Group. On the paper's page 3, while conservation efforts at the local level are important for livelihoods and wildlife, landscape level conservation approaches increase impacts across much larger areas. Landscape scale conservation is a holistic approach to landscape management aiming to reconcile the competing objectives of nature conservation and economic activities across a given landscape. This helps to secure wildlife movements, implement conservation measures, encourage socioeconomic development, and manage wildlife conflict. This is according to the 2022 State of Community Conservation in Namibia report, which highlights the importance of landscape-level conservation in Namibia. The new year has been greeted with rain showers in various parts of the country, and the Namibia Meteorological Service predicts more rain. According to Chief Weather Forecaster Odilo Gobetsi, rain is expected for the central parts of the country, as well as the eastern regions, the Kunene region, and the central north. Slight dry conditions are predicted for the Zambezi region, but rain is developing in that area from tonight, and we also expect rain throughout the week. On the Republican's page 2, the Blood Transfusion Service of Namibia has made an urgent appeal to Namibians to do their part to replenish critically low blood supply levels. The blood supply level is currently at its lowest level in 4 years. The country's blood supply level is significantly low, and NAMBTS is making an urgent appeal to Namibians to donate blood and to help alleviate the growing demand for blood. The demand for blood increased rapidly during the weeks leading up to December, while blood donation rates were relatively low due to public holidays during the festive season, according to a media release issued by NAMBTS on Friday. The Namibian Ministry of Agriculture does not yet wish to comment on the possible impact of the new Angolan dams on the Kunene on the Namibian population. In Angola, the construction of Ndue and Kalukuve continues. That is what Algemene Zeitung in today's publication is opening with on its front page. In July last year, Ndue was already 20% complete and Kalukuve around 15%, according to the Angolan government. According to Angolan Energy Minister João Baptista Borges, the dams and their canals should be fully constructed by 2025. While Ndue should be filled with water by the end of 2023, Kalukuve should follow at the end of this year. On page 2, Algemeine Zeitung is attending to a road maintenance. A total of 224 kilometers of roads were rehabilitated in the Etosha National Park last year, 86 kilometers of which were asphalted. This was announced by the Permanent Secretary for Environment, Theophilus Ngitila, who said that the tourism sector continues to be an important economic pillar and is beginning to recover. Protected areas not only serve to protect species and habitats, but are also main tourist attractions and will be key to the recovery of the sector. The maintenance and development of infrastructure in protected areas remains a top priority for the ministry. That brings us to the end of the first half of our newspaper review segment, the second half coming up after the break.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouthwatering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
We start off the second half of our newspaper review segment with what's leading in the Namibian newspaper's front page. The Namibian woman who was arrested in Ethiopia on the 2nd of January over suspected drug smuggling has not appeared in court yet. This was confirmed by Namibia's ambassador to Ethiopia and the African Union, Emilia Mukusa. According to her, she was told she will appear within 15 days and the investigation and jail time will be the punishment if she's found guilty. The Executive Director of Education, Arts and Culture, Sanet Steenkamp, says that the Namibia Senior Secondary Certificate Ordinary and National Senior Secondary Advanced Subsidiary Examination results would gradually improve after 2022's disastrous results. She was speaking yesterday on the eve of the release of the 2023 results tomorrow. Steenkamp said regardless of the high failure rate of candidates who sat for the 2022 national examinations, she remains hopeful and optimistic about education in Namibia. Moving over to the front page of the New Era, Namibia finally ratified the European Union's new 20-year collaboration accord last month, delineating the structure of EU relations with African, Caribbean and Pacific nations. The new cooperation agreement, also known as the Samoa Agreement, is an international pact that will govern the EU's interactions with 79 countries, 48 states from Africa, 16 in the Caribbean and 15 in the Pacific. Namibian Police Chief Joseph Shikongo said officers should differentiate between wants and needs to avoid spending their salaries on unnecessary things. He stressed that police officers do not have peace of mind at the workplace because they are stressed about cash loan deductions appearing on their payslips, while others lose money at gambling machines. He made these remarks last week during an official address to police officers in the Oshana region in Ongwediva. The meeting was aimed to motivate officers on work-related matters and to share relevant information on how they should ensure good service to the public. According to MarketWatch, the banking sector was able to show resilience despite the tightening of interest rates during the course of 2023, a report prepared by stockbroking firm PSG Namibia noted. The report noted, among others, the performance of the big four commercial banks and the current macroeconomic conditions at play. Now, the Namibia Financial Institution Supervisory Authority repaid disgruntled customers 3.8 million Namibian dollars. More on this story after the break as we head into economic news.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
In today's economic news, the Namibia Financial Institution Supervisory Authority repaid disgruntled customers $3.8 million Namibian dollars owing to concerns raised in the financial non-banking sector. During the second quarter of last year, between July and September 2023, about $3.8 million Namibian dollars was paid to complaints owing to the authorities' intervention. This represents a significant increase in the total amount paid when compared to the previous quarter for the months of April, May and June, where a total amount of 672,347 Namibian dollars was paid. The highest amount, totaling 3 million Namibian dollars, was recovered from the pension fund industry, followed by 392,340 Namibian dollars from the short-term insurance industry, 250,749 Namibian dollars from the long-term insurance industry, 41,295 from the micro-lending industry, and 2,767 Namibian dollars from the medical aid fund industry. Treating customers fairly is what we should all subscribe to as regulated entities and regulators alike. Hence, both NMFISA and service providers in the non-bank financial sector continuously explore ways to ensure consumer awareness and education for the benefit of stakeholders in the financial sector, NMFISA CEO Kenneth Matomola said. We'll now take a look at the economic indicators. The Namibian dollar trades at 23.70 to the British pound, 20.41 to the euro, 18.65 to the US dollar, and 2 Namibian dollars and 60 cents buys you 1 Chinese yuan. All selected NSX stock closing prices maintained. Local index maintained while overall index closed on an upturn of 0.54%. Looking at commodities, gold and Brent crude oil took upturns of 0.27% and 1.79% respectively, while copper and platinum took dips of 0.49% and 0.40% respectively. The National Council for Higher Education denies allegations that Uganda may face Nigeria's rejection of its degree certificate. More on this as we head into African news after the break.
eTicket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
We now expand beyond Namibia's borders to give you the latest news from the African continent here on NMH at 1. The National Council for Higher Education denies allegations that Uganda may face Nigeria's rejection of its degree certificates over authenticity concerns. Professor Mary Okwakol, NCHE's Executive Director, clarified that there have been no complaints from Nigeria about the legitimacy of Ugandan academic papers. NCHE investigates complaints related to higher learning institutions and takes appropriate action. Contrary to reports, Nigeria has non-suspended accreditation for Ugandan degrees. Professor Okwakol urged anyone with evidence of fake degrees to provide information for necessary action. Educationist Rose Stella Akongo cautioned against obtaining degrees in under 2 months, urging vigilance against substandard courses. The Ministry of Education refrained from commenting until formal communication is received. Last year, a Ugandan student faced challenges in a UK university due to an allegedly expired undergraduate course. NCHE directed universities to submit programs for review, with 2,395 out of 4,369 accredited degree programs in the final stages. Makerere University investigated fake degree awards, urging employers to re-verify degrees. The Democratic Republic of Congo's election authority has announced recent election results for 3 government ministers and 4 provincial governors, citing fraud and voter intimidation. The Electoral Commission, CENI, stated late on Friday it had cancelled all ballots cast for 82 election candidates in the Central African nation. 3 sitting government ministers are on the list, while one of the 4 provincial governors includes that of the capital province, Kinshasa. The announcement comes after an election last month was marred by bureaucratic chaos and which the Congolese political opposition has rejected. On December 20th, impoverished but mineral-rich DRC held simultaneous votes to choose the president, lawmakers for national and provincial assemblies, and local councillors. Disarray and massive delays pushed the Electoral Commission, CENI, to extend the vote by 1 day. Some observers noted that voting continued in some remote areas until December 27th. On Friday, CENI announced the results of several prominent political figures due to fraud, acts of vandalism, voter intimidation, and illegal possession of voting machines. Antoinette Kipulu Kabenga, Minister for Vocational Training, featured on the annulled list, as did Regional Integration Minister Didier Mazenga Mukanzu and Nana Manuanina Kihimba, a minister in the President's office. 4 provincial governors also featured on the list, including the head of Kinshasa Province, Gentini Ngobila. A CENI spokesperson was not immediately available for comment. The Electoral Commission has only released results from the presidential election so far. Incumbent President Felix Tshisekedi won the presidential race by a landslide, 73% of the votes, according to provincial results, which the Constitutional Court is expected to confirm this month. We'll now be taking a quick ad break and taking a look at international news when we return.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
We are all seeking connection to each other, to the world, to the spaces we exist in.
Poor sportsmanship right now from the lads.
You might be physically ready, your body is ready, but mentally.
Here's another chance, and it is a goal from Vindo
Wijs, hij zegt, ja, is er aan neertrekken. Hij bal lijkt mij het grond gepakt. Ja, hij het grond gepakt. En dan zie je...
But just enough next.
Shh. Running that mountain up. Okay, so we will be doing this for the mountain climber. More advanced, slightly advanced.
So is jou trolley reg? Want
I love it. I love it. So then
Kickstart our countdown at number 5 with this one.
Op Netwerk TV se Klets Kompas gesels ons nuus van 'n Maandag tot Donderdag. Ons kyk ook na die weer en meer. Stories wat jou raak en stories wat saak maak.
They've made a mistake in denying me bail, and they've made several other mistakes in many other cases.
The channels that teach us something new or reflect our expression. So it goes beyond switching to the right station. It's about choosing the experience that can adorn the present, dressing it with our tastes as we
Expand our preferences, because what we are actually connecting to is boundless, limitless human energy. And this is the spirit of NTV.
Starting us off with international news, a 60-day state of emergency has begun in Ecuador after a convicted gang leader vanished from his prison cell. Adolfo Macias Velama, better known as Fito, is the leader of Los Choneros, a powerful gang which is thought to have been behind some of the deadly prison riots in recent months. He was being held in the maximum security wing of a jail in Guayaquil. The emergency measures include the suspension of the right of assembly and a nightly curfew. They were announced in a decree issued by President Daniel Noboa, who took office less than 2 months ago as the second youngest holder of the post in Ecuadorian history. He won the election after a campaign overshadowed by unprecedented levels of violence, including the assassination of another candidate, Fernando Villavicencio. President Noboa said the emergency would allow the military and police to take control of the country's prisons at a national level. Los Choneros control much of the compound at La Regional Prison, where Fito was being held. These narco-terrorist groups intend to intimidate us, and they think we'll give in to their demands, the president said, but he added, "We will not negotiate with terrorists and will not rest until we have restored peace." Fito is a notorious criminal suspected of having played a role in last year's killing of Villavicencio, whom he had sent death threats. Police said they had noticed his absence early on Sunday and could not find him anywhere in the prison wing. He often defies the authorities, most recently by releasing a Naco Corrido, a slick music video glorifying his criminal exploits, which was partly recorded inside the jail. The video shows Fito caressing a fighting cockerel and freely chatting to fellow inmates. The fact that the video could be recorded behind bars suggests the ban on electronic devices inside the jail had been breached. It is still not clear if Fito managed to leave the prison compound in the port city or if he may be hiding somewhere inside. A police commander said he could neither confirm nor deny an escape, nor could he say for how long the convict has been missing. He said hundreds of officers were searching the prison. Getting into our next story, Pope Francis called Monday for a global ban on surrogacy, saying the practice of a woman carrying another person's child was deplorable. In his New Year's address to diplomats at the Vatican, the 87-year-old pontiff said it was a grave violation of the dignity of the woman and the child. In a speech dominated by calls for an end to conflicts around the world, the head of the worldwide Catholic Church said the path to peace calls for respect for life. This began with the life of the unborn child in the mother's womb, which cannot be suppressed or turned into an object of trafficking, he said. In this regard, I deem deplorable the practice of so-called surrogate motherhood, which represents a grave violation of the dignity of the woman and the child based on the exploitation of situations of the mother's material needs. A child is always a gift and never the basis of a commercial contract. Consequently, I express my hope for an effort by the international community to prohibit this practice universally. In June 2022, the Pope condemned surrogacy as an inhuman practice. Altruistic surrogacy, whereby a woman gives birth to a baby on behalf of another woman or couple but no money exchanges hands, excluding for expenses, is legal in countries including Belgium, the Netherlands, the UK, Canada, Brazil and Colombia. Commercial surrogacy is permitted in some US states. Stick around, news from the world of sports follows right after this.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraifa. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
In local sports this afternoon, the Brave Warriors won the hearts of many ahead of the AFCON tournament in Ivory Coast this coming weekend. The Warriors held highly ranked Ghana 0-0 in a friendly match played in the West African country last night. The match served as preparation towards the Africa Cup of Nations. The Brave Warriors showed class and kept Ghana in check throughout the entire match. Both nations had clear chances to win the match, but they were very wasteful on the night. Brave Warriors goalkeeper Lloyd Kathapua walked away with the Man of the Match award for his outstanding display in the goalkeeping department. The Brave Warriors will go to AFCON inspired by this draw when they come up against Tunisia, South Africa and Mali. Their first match in Ivory Coast is against Tunisia on the 16th of January. The government, through the Line Ministry of Sport, has allocated close to $14 million towards the Brave Warriors' participation in the upcoming AFCON competition, which starts on the 13th of this month in Ivory Coast. This is according to the Executive Director in the Ministry of Sports, Youth and National Service, Bumba Erastus Haitengela. The money will be spent on the team's preparation, participation, logistics and incentives for appearing at the Continental Showpiece. We have so far deposited $5.4 million in their account and another $2 million will be deposited on Tuesday. They also asked us for extra $6 million in case they reach the next stage, and that money will be dispatched to the team in Ivory Coast in case that happens. Bonuses will also be paid to the team for any win recorded. The Brave Warriors will face off against strong opponents in Tunisia, South Africa and Mali in the group stage. The festive season is always filled with excitement, and the Okapia annual soccer tournament provided Northerners with thrills and spills at the Andimba Toivo Airport Sport Field. Tournament organizer Sandro Ithana hailed the competition a success. Ondangwa Masters won the veteran soccer category and further fighters from Oangwena won the youth soccer category. Stick around after the break, we bring you international sports news.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
In some international sports news, Manchester United eased the pressure on manager Erik ten Hag by ensuring there was no FA Cup third-round shock in a 2-0 win at League One Wigan on Monday. Diogo Dalot's first-half strike and a controversial penalty from Bruno Fernandes secured United's first away win since November. The Red Devils were also handed a favourable fourth-round draw against either non-league Islay or Newport County of League Two in Monday's draw. This competition represents United's final shot at silverware this season and could prove a lifeline for Ten Hag, with his side struggling in the Premier League and already dumped out of Europe. South African sides have already proven to be a hit in the Vodacom United Rugby Championship this season, as another all-time attendance record was broken this past weekend for the number of fans attending live games during a round. The figure of 135,747, which was topped up by the delayed Hollywood Bets Sharks Emirates Lions derby in Durban this weekend, took the figure way past the 123,207, which was the set last season in round 11. The Williams Formula One team will continue to use Mercedes engines until at least 2030, both parties announced on Monday. The extension means Mercedes now has long-term contracts with 3 of the 10 teams, including their own factory outfit that 7-time World Championship Lewis Hamilton drives for. McLaren announced a similar deal last November. The power unit rules are changing in 2026 in the sport's next big shakeup. Stick around, we'll be right back with the highlights from today's broadcast. You're watching NMH at 1, if you're just joining us, here are the news highlights. The National Council for Higher Education denies allegations that Uganda may face Nigeria's rejection of its degree certificates over authenticity concerns. A 60-day state of emergency has begun in Ecuador after a convicted gang leader vanished from his prison cell. The Brave Warriors won the hearts of many ahead of the AFCON tournament in Ivory Coast this weekend. The Warriors held highly ranked Ghana 0-0 in a friendly match played in the West African country last night. Those have been your highlights. Remember to tune in every weekday at 1 p.m. to spend your lunch hour with NMH at 1, catching up on the latest news in Namibia and beyond. From all of us here in studio, it's Happy Tuesday.